Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. Military aircraft like the F-16 Fighting Falcon are widely prized for their aerial combat abilities. However, much like their sports car counterparts, the engineers who designed these aircraft did not expend much effort on storage space. Of course, military pilots are often deployed to different air bases worldwide, and when they leave, they need someplace to put their stuff. Fortunately, these men and women now have the option to use travel pods. These special tubes can be mounted under the plane's wing or attached to the fuselage. The average travel pod can accommodate up to 300 pounds and boasts a usable volume of around 4.75 cubic feet. This gives pilots a fair amount of space to store their stuff, be it clothing, food, sports equipment, or equipment to help them maintain the aircraft. As a result, travel pod packing has become a big part of the pre-flight checklist.
Oh man, I had my 6.7.
I want to talk to you a little bit today about our travel pods. A lot of people see these whenever flying in, they think they're external fuel tanks. So what we use these for is to obviously travel. We throw our stuff in here. This is going to be for the pilot stuff, and then we always throw the maintenance stuff on this side. Same exact pod, we just put them on different sides, store different things in them.
As with major airlines, military personnel take the pre-flight aircraft evaluation process very seriously. Ground crews and pilots need to perform this basic list of tasks before takeoff.
Wrong side. No, I have to go this
The goal is to improve safety and provide a record of how the aircraft was operating on the off chance anything goes wrong during the flight. Put simply, this process consists of both visual and operational checks of aircraft controls, instruments, and more. As the crew members move around the outside of the plane, they are specifically looking for anything that might seem mechanically unsound. They are also looking for leaking hydraulic fluid or other issues that would need to be immediately reported to maintenance. If any weapons are attached, these will be inspected as well. Only after all parties are satisfied that the aircraft is operating as it should will the pilot begin takeoff preparations. As with anything of a complex nature, education is crucial to future success. That is why student pilots undergo what's known as training deployments. The goal of this program is to maximize each pilot's hands-on practice hours before they begin completing real-world missions. Before any in-air education, the pilots will go through a detailed pre-brief covering the specific training segment's specific goals. It's imperative that these mock missions feature different types of takeoffs, landings, and objectives. Sometimes pilots may participate in simulated dogfights or attack missions. Instructors will also review the pre-flight check process with their students to ensure they know every part of their aircraft, inside and out. It's important to note that pilots won't always have time to slowly and carefully inspect their aircraft before flight. In a scramble scenario, they'll be tasked with getting up in the air as quickly as possible in order to engage potential threats or defend against an enemy attack. Fortunately, the Air Force keeps its pilots prepared for this eventuality as well. It's not uncommon for various bases to host scramble competitions, sometimes with one military competing against another. Here, the U.S. Air Force competes in a scramble competition against the Royal Georgian Air Force to attempt to see who can clock the fastest takeoff. The term scramble dates back to the earliest days of military aircraft. Before radar became as accurate as it is today, enemy bombers would attempt to attack an airbase while most of the pilots and planes were still on the ground. Therefore, it became essential that troops be able to mobilize and become airborne as quickly as possible. There are limitations to how fast this can be accomplished, however. An F-16, starting from cold, will take around 5 minutes to get into the air. That's assuming it's combat ready, which means it is fully armed and fueled. In the event of an all-out surprise attack, it would take around 15 minutes. Not all planes are combat ready at all times, yet it is essential that they become armed very quickly in the event of an emergency. So, where Air Force pilots compete in scrambling competitions, ground crews participate in weapons load competitions on a regular basis.
Whoa! Whoa!
This means loading bombs, missiles, rockets, and other munitions onto special equipment before securing them onto the wing-mounted weapon racks. These weapons must be placed carefully, and in some cases, missiles must have their directional fins attached manually before the weapon can be considered combat ready. While speed is a factor during these competitions and in scramble situations, weapons loading is typically a less chaotic practice. Due to the sheer number of parts that need to be checked and rechecked. While missiles and bombs are, by definition, explosive, handling them is relatively safe. This is because modern missiles need to be electronically armed before they can detonate. Certain aircraft provide such an intense flight experience that the pilots themselves need to undergo rigorous training and evaluation before every single flight. A good example is the Lockheed U-2 Dragon Lady. This extreme high-altitude reconnaissance plane is designed to operate at up to 80,000 feet, so preparing to board it is not unlike going into space. Pilots and radio operators are asked to report their health information and diet for the 24 hours leading up to the flight, and must wear a special suit that allows them to function at those extreme altitudes. The suit is test pressured before the pilot is brought to the plane, with medical techs standing by to monitor his vital signs. The pilot is then driven to his plane and carefully strapped into place. The U-2 is a very unique aircraft. It requires cars of trucks known as mobiles to assist the pilot with taxi, takeoff, and landing. Its wheels are arranged in a center line down the fuselage, which reduces its ability to maneuver once it touches down. That said, once the plane reaches altitude, pilots are treated to a sight that very few people ever see. In fact, the Dragon Lady is capable of flying so high that it nearly enters space. On missions, pilots regularly report seeing the Terminator line. This designation between night and day moves across the Earth as it spins. Ultimately, only the best of the best pilots get to see signs like these. Of course, it takes a lot of preparation back on the ground to get here. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.